What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made this beautiful, delicious, smoky, tangy, homemade summer sausage. Coming up! One of the most frequent requests I've gotten over the last few years on this channel is to make some summer sausage. And what's not to love about summer sausage? It's got that wonderful tang to it, those nice floral notes, and it's perfect for any picnic or charcuterie board. But I've never made summer sausage before. Usually what I'll do is just pull a cold sausage out of the fridge, slice it up, and tell people it's summer sausage. But that doesn't really count. So, that being said, today we're gonna make some summer sausage, and it is going to be delicious. This is some meat. What I've got here is two pounds of lean brisket, 1 pound of pork shoulder, and 1 pound of brisket fat, which should give us a wonderful fat ratio around a 70-30 mark, and that wonderful beefy porky flavor. And as you can see, this has been in the freezer for the last little bit, so it's nice and hard, but not too hard. Still malleable, and that's just gonna ensure we get a really nice clean grind on this sausage, and we don't get any fat smearing or anything like that. Also really convenient because it's an incredibly hot day here in Texas. So let's get our spices together. Spices for our summer sausage include some kosher salt, some pink curing salt, #1, granulated garlic, some white sugar, black pepper, some coriander, nutmeg, some allspice, some mustard seeds, and our binder today, which is some Sous Vide. This is a carrot fiber binder. Stuff works great, and you don't have to use nearly as much volumetrically compared to milk powder. And we're just gonna get that nice and mixed up. Going through on the small millimeter die today, and that's because we're trying to get that tighter, more emulsified texture. Looking good. Yeah. Because this is a 4-pound batch of sausage, it's not really necessary to bust out the 50-pound sausage mixer that I have, as much as I do like using it. So today we're gonna go with the old paddle attachment on the stand mixer. So in we go with our meat. Lovely grind on this, nice and pebbly. No fat smearage. That's what we're all about, folks. Beep. And in with the spices. We're also gonna go in with our liquid component, which is some cold water. 10% of the weight of the meat, 180 mils. And that's just gonna help us get that tackiness, add some moisture to the sausage, help hydrate those spices, all that good stuff. And we're just gonna let this knead for the next 5 minutes or so until it gets nice and tacky. All the spices are evenly incorporated and it sticks to your hand, just like every other sausage. And just like that, after a few minutes of kneading, this stuff is looking nice and tacky, sticking together in a big ball, sticking to the paddle a little bit. So now we're gonna go in with our final ingredient, which is this. This is some encapsulated citric acid. And what this is gonna do is add that nice tang that summer sausage is known for. Usually it gets that tang from fermentation, but we're not gonna ferment this sausage. So by adding this citric acid, it's gonna give us that wonderful flavor. But this stuff is great because it's citric acid that's encapsulated in a layer of fat around each little granule, which is perfect for this because if we were to add regular citric acid or vinegar or anything else that's acidic like that, it's gonna start to cook the meat and break down the proteins, kind of like the pineapple did in that one sausage video, or like a ceviche or something like that. So because each of these granules is encapsulated in fat, the citric acid is not gonna come into contact with the meat until the meat hits a certain temperature. So basically when this is cooking, all the fat will melt away due to the heat, and then the citric acid will be introduced into the sausage while it's cooking, meaning it's not gonna sit in there for too long and cook the meat, and this stuff works great. So in we go, and we're just gonna let this knead for another little bit until it is all evenly incorporated. Beautiful. Let's case it up. Busting out the bighorn today. Looking good. All right, for our casing for our summer sausage, I'm going with one of these. This is a big old cellulose casing, 3-incher. How you doing? Had this soaking in some warm water to make it a little more flexible and pliable. And simply enough, we're just gonna stuff this meat into this giant tube. Oh, Magnum. Beep. This is a new experience for me. Oh yes. Trying to get it as nice and taut and plump as possible, folks. You know the drill. This is weird. Gotta say though, it's kind of nice just making one link instead of like 40. But that is plumping up nicely. Again, it's all about keeping the right amount of pressure with the hand here so it doesn't come out too quickly. That way we don't get a whole bunch of air pockets, because that's not what we want. That's a big boy. And there we have it. all cased up. Look at that meat log. That's looking really nice. Not too many air pockets, a couple little guys. But now, it's gonna tie this off real quick. Give it a couple of twisterinos. I gotta get some of those sausage clamps. How am I gonna tie this off? Didn't think this far ahead. Gotta go find some string. But bam! That's a nice looking log, must say. Looks pretty good. You can see the mustard seeds and the pepper speckled throughout. The fat looks evenly distributed. Couple minor air pockets in here. And I don't have a sausage pricker. I'm not much of a pricker when it comes to sausage, but we'll just use this thermometer and just kind of go through it a little bit. Don't think it's gonna do much damage, but if this popped right now, I would be very upset. Anywho, that's looking good to me. So now I'm gonna fire up the mini chud box and cold smoke this thing for a very long time. Well, I figure because of the last sausage I made, where I used this little doohickey to cold smoke it for a very long time, Sawyer in that video said that it tasted like a summer sausage. So I figure I might as well go with this method again. Going on with some hickory sawdust. All right, we got our sausage hanging up. We got our little sawdust cold smoke situation lit. So now we're gonna let this smoke for a long time. Alrighty, a few hours later, you see my little coal bed down there. This thing has come up to about 150, 155. Been probing it right in the top here, and it is feeling extra firm, nice and plump. It's time to pull it off. And there we have it, folks. A beautiful looking summer sausage log. Love the color on that, nice and red. Pull this hot rod out of there. Gotta say though, I am impressed with this first attempt at making summer sausage. It is looking and feeling beautiful. Not too much fat running out of there. I mean, it looks pretty flawless on the surface. Nice fat distribution still, didn't leach out. It's got a really plump, firm bind to it. This is cool. Now it's time to plop this into a water bath. And that's just gonna stop the cooking process, clean it off a little bit, shock the casings a little bit, do all sorts of good things for us. And I couldn't find my deep hotel pan, so this is just gonna have to do. I'll let this chill in here for, I don't know, 10-15 minutes or so till it just comes down in temp. All right, this log has been sufficiently chilled. So now what I'm gonna do is hang this up in my kitchen at room temperature overnight. Little trick I picked up from Eric over at Two Guys in a Cooler. And what that's gonna do is kind of age this sausage a little bit. It's gonna draw out a little bit more moisture, concentrate the flavors, and bloom the sausage a little bit, which is really gonna help the color shine a little bit more. So in my kitchen, this shall hang for the next 6 hours or so, or until I wake up. Then I will pop it in the fridge, and then at some point tomorrow, we will slice on in. All right, y'all, I think it is time to figure out how this summer sausage came out. Color is looking beautiful, still nice and firm. And as I mentioned, I hung this up overnight. And then first thing this morning, I popped it in the fridge so it is nicely chilled. And up here got a little wrinkly. I think that's because that's where I was probing it with the thermometer to get the internal temp of this thing. So some fat leached out from the top. So that's why it's looking a little wrinkly right there. Anywho, let's slice on in. Ooh, looking pretty good, folks. But this does confirm my suspicion from last night. Story time. So when I was filming the spices sequence for this thing, I threw in the salt, the pink salt, the garlic powder, and then the sugar. But instead of grabbing the sugar, I accidentally added the encapsulated citric acid, which as we know, needs to go in at the very end. So off camera, I dumped that out, remeasured the salt, the garlic powder, the sugar, citric acid, all that stuff, and proceeded with the video. But around midnight last night, it hit me that I forgot to add the pink salt, which is a bummer. And I can tell now that I definitely forgot because this is kind of pale looking. It should have that nice pink cured meat hue to it instead of being this kind of ugly gray color. So that's kind of a bummer, but I'm not too concerned about it. It was in a very smoky environment, around 150 degrees for the whole cook. So I'm not too concerned about botulism, but just to be safe, I'm probably not gonna feed this to anyone. But for me, I'm gonna take my chances and slice into this thing and see how it tastes. But please, folks, don't forget the pink salt. Not only for safety, but also for that lovely color. Rookie move, folks, but hey, we all make mistakes. And other than the color, this is looking really nice. Those mustard seeds are a great look, slicing beautifully. Take off this casing, and there we have it. Beautiful looking slice. Really incredible bind on there. It's like a bologna. Lovely smoke ring color. If it had that pink hue, this would be perfect looking. But yeah, incredibly great bind on there. It's like a quick bite. Oh, that is amazing. The tang. Yeah, the tang is amazing on that. Perfect flavor. Smoke is there, salt is there. The mustard seeds add a nice little pop. Wonderful flavor. That citric acid is a nice touch. I may have to include that in some more sausages. But yeah, the texture is perfect. Very great bind on there. Go ahead and peel this off. And that's it, folks. beautiful looking log of some summer sausage. Gotta say, I'm real bummed out about the color of it, but the flavor, the texture, the tang, everything is there. And it was such a fun experience too. You know, I never thought I could make something like this that looks that like professional. It's so dense. That carrot binder works really well. And the reason I use carrot binder instead of the milk powder is because this is gonna take a long time to eat all this stuff. So adding milk powder to this, having a dairy component, won't last nearly as long because milk spoils a little bit quicker than carrots do. So that was the reasoning behind that. But yeah, this is great. You know, split this up, make for a great gift. Tell you what, someone's getting summer sausage for the holidays. Definitely should have taken that casing off before slicing it because this way is a pain in the butt. The smoke flavor is really nice. I'm not sure how a lot of commercial sausage is made, but something tells me there's a lot of liquid smoke involved. So having that really nice hickory and oak smoke on there is definitely a win for the homemade summer sausage. Ooh, looking good, folks. You know you can't have some summer sausage without some crackers and some cheese. But I mean, just look at that spread. Perfect for a picnic. Perfect for a charcuterie board. Very cool process, folks. Next time, gotta do some experimenting with this stuff, you know? A little jalapeno cheese summer sausage. Sounds good to me. And that's what it's all about. That is so good. That is so, so good. Cheese in the cracker makes it as a damn good summer sausage. Not to toot, but maybe one of the better that I've ever had. So tangy. And everything's better when you made it yourself, folks. Highly recommend giving this one a try, guys. Especially if you're new to sausage making, this is a perfect place to start because you don't have to have any speed or skill when it comes to casing it up. You know, it takes a really long time to get quick and efficient at getting those nice, plump, normal sausage links. But with this, it's super easy. All right, y'all, and that is it. That is how to make some uncured summer sausage. Again, please don't forget the pink salt, just for safety reasons. But then again, this is heavily salted, heavily smoked. It's full of citric acid, so I think I'm gonna be all right. But I'll let you know if I get botulism. But all that being said, I highly recommend giving this recipe a try. The flavor, the texture, the technique is all there. And this really is a foolproof way to make some amazing summer sausage. So that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like on this video. Leave a comment down below letting me know what you want to see me cooking next. If you do give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I'd love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Patreon members. Thank you for supporting Team Chud and allowing me to keep making all these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace!